Hello everyone, thanks for tuning into the third Winter 2022-2023 update from GavsWeatherVids. So here we go again, it's time to bring you another winter update. We've done two updates so far. This is your third winter update, and of course this is all building up a picture to the winter forecast that we're going to be releasing at the beginning of December. And in a moment I'm going to give you the date for the winter 2022-2023 forecast. But before I do that, I just want to say thank you so much to Richard and also to Shryan for the help on this video. Thank you so much to my good friend Richard Drawer and also to Shryan Bruin for all of the help on this video. Amazing work, guys. I'm going to play it, Rich. Let's play it. Play it, Rich. There we go. Playing the gift. Thank you so much, Richard, for the winter updates gift. We're going to name a Robin in a week or two's time. We'll do that in a live stream, and we'll take all your all of your names, you know, and we'll put on the wheel of names in a live stream in a couple of weeks, and we'll name the Robin. But thank you so much, Richard. Thank you so much to Shryan for all of the help on this video. When we get to the parts of the video that Richard and Shryan have helped with, of course, I will give them a good shout out. So, that date for the winter forecast, we will be releasing the GavsWeatherVids winter 2022-2023 forecast on Sunday the 4th of December. Sunday 4th of December will be the date that we release our forecast. So that's going to be a very exciting day. I think we'll probably premiere it in the evening and whatnot, give it a big launch, and it's going to be very, very exciting indeed. I can't wait to get to the forecast. We've got lots of updates to go through, of course, so I think we better get on with your third winter update, don't you? Let's do that, shall we? So the first thing we're going to do to start off with this winter update is bring you the Swingometer. So we've done two updates so far, and we now have enough data to be able to give you the Swingometer to show you where the winter updates two we've done so far are favouring this winter to go in terms of it being either a milder or a colder than average winter, or maybe, you know, a finely balanced winter between the two. So I won't count it down because I'm still toning things down until after Her Majesty the Queen's funeral tomorrow. We'll just go straight over to the Swingometer. Here we go then. And there we are. It's 50-50, everyone. It's 50-50 between the chance of a colder and a milder than average winter after two winter updates. So the Swingometer at this point, just two updates in very early days, is finely balanced between the two at 50-50. Thank you so much, Richard, for the Swingometer, and of course the lovely tribute to Her Majesty the Queen there. Thank you so much, Richard, for doing that. We will bring you the Swingometer again next week, and next week you'll find out how the winter updates are looking after 3 updates. Right, so before I do anything else, we've got to, thank you so much, Richard. Before we do anything else, I've got to clear up a little bit of an issue with last week's analogue. So, at the end of last week's second update, we was looking at winters by the top 10 driest summers. And there was a bit of a mistake with the all years combined chart. So, this is all December's combined after the top 10 driest summers. So, there's no problem at all with this. So the top 10 driest summers are 2006, 1981, 1955, 1975, 2018, 1984, 1983, 1976, and 1975. Or 1995, I should say. So everything there is in order. So that analog chart is correct with a little bit of blocking around Queens and Iceland. Low pressure down here, but overall probably an Atlantic-driven type flow, but with some cold snap potential. The issue is on the all January's, all February's, and all winters combined charts, one of the top 10 driest summers. And I don't know whether you can see what the issue is here. So we've got 2007, which is fine, 1982, which is fine, 1956, which is fine, 1976, which is fine, 1985, that's okay, 1984 is okay, 1977 it's okay, 1996 is okay. It's this one just here, 2010, That's the problem. That should be 2019. So instead of a naught, or instead of a 9, I did a naught. So that is showing January 2010 rather than January 2019. They're two very, very different Januaries, of course. And as there's only 10 years within the analog package, that could skewer the analog quite a bit. You see, but it's a very, very block type signal with lots of high latitude blocking around Greenland. Low pressure is sent down there. So I'm going to show you the correct analog for all Januaries combined, following the top 10 driest summers, and instead of 2010, that now includes 2019 as well. You see, actually, it doesn't make all that much difference. There is still quite a block sort of signal within the North Atlantic and up to Greenland, but it is reduced a little bit compared to, the erroneous analog for all Januaries combined. And then, as far as all Februaries combined, that's how it looked last week. So with 2010 included, which shouldn't have been, so Scandinavian high jet stream pushed down there along with the areas of low pressure. That's how it looks with 2019 taken out and 2019 that's how it looks with 2010 taken out and 2019 included. And we see it's still going for a Scandinavian high, and that probably strengthening the Scandinavian high, seeing a little bit low pressure pushed out there. So overall, both January and February following the top 10 driest summer still favouring blocking, even with 2010 replaced for 2019. And then that's how all winters combined look last week with 2010 included in the 10. That's how it looks this week with 2019 replacing 2010. And still the blocking signal is bare. It's a little bit reduced, especially towards Greenland. But I think overall, we still favour blocking within a lot of these winters. Anyway, not all of them, definitely, but quite a few of them. We still favour blocking there after the top 10 driest summers. So that's cleared that up. We'll have a little pause there, and then we come back, we'll start again. I just wanted to get that cleared up. If we make mistakes within the updates, and we're all human, mistakes get made, and, I'm doing the first set of long-range updates that I've done for, a year, first sets of analogues that I've done for a year. It's been a long time, I'm a little bit rusty, I'm not into my stride with it all yet, so mistakes are going to happen, and until I get into my stride, and even then mistakes could still happen. If we notice that a mistake has happened, then it's important to go back and fix it and show you the correct data, because we don't want to be giving you misleading data, of course. So that has cleared all of that up. I'll pause the video there. When we come back, we're going to start the video, or start part 2 of the video, by having a look at sea surface temperature anomalies. So I shall see you very soon. Okay, we're back and we're ready to resume the third winter 2022-2023 update from GavsWeatherVids. If you've enjoyed the video so far, I've not done much so far, but if you've enjoyed what we've done so far, then please can you like, share, subscribe, and thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Right, so we're going to start off this second section of the third winter update, having a look at sea surface temperature anomalies. In fact, this video is going to be a sea surface temperature anomaly special. More about that shortly. But we're going to start off by this section by looking at last week's sea surface temperature anomalies, when we did the second winter update. So we've got 4 areas of interest. We've got the ENSO region just here. We've got the Northern Pacific over there. That's the Equatorial Pacific, of course. We've here Indian Ocean over there. North Atlantic is over there. That's how the ocean's looking. We did last week's second update. This is the latest. So let's deal with the ENSO region first of all. We can see that things have actually got colder in the eastern portion of the Equatorial Pacific Ocean. All regions of the Equatorial Pacific Ocean are showing a La Nina signal. But all regions are cooler than average, and those blue colours there depicting below average sea surface temperature anomalies. But I think clearly we can see that compared to last week, where the eastern portion of the Equatorial Pacific Ocean looked like that, compared to last week, this week has seen a cooling of that eastern portion of the Equatorial Pacific. So it could well be that La Nina It is strengthening in all regions, but La Nina is particularly starting to become an eastern-based event. Right into the Northern Pacific, so that's how things were looking in the Northern Pacific last week, particularly focusing on that northeastern portion. That's the latest. Very little change, really. Still above average in virtually all areas of the Northern Pacific. Perhaps it's cooled slightly in that northeastern corner, but still, generally above average. We are expecting it to cool down in the Northern Pacific Ocean, especially around here with the La Nina going on. There should be a response within the wider Pacific Ocean, and particularly through here, to get things colder. So over the next few weeks, we should start to see the sea surface temperature anomalies coming down, especially if La Nina strengthens in the eastern portion of the equatorial Pacific Ocean. And then over into the Indian Ocean, that's how things were looking last week. We've got a negative IOD, of course, at the moment. This is the latest. And we can see that the negative IOD continues, so cooler through there, warmer through there, negative IOD goes on. We'll have more about that later on with our analogues. I'll be coming up shortly, actually. Over in the North Atlantic, we can see that, again, that's how things looking on fire, really, around Newfoundland to Greenland, out into the middle of the North Atlantic last week. That's the latest. Not that much change, but those warmer than average sea surface temperature lines, the warmest area, probably shifted a bit further northwards, becoming a little bit more centred to the south of Greenland. It's warm through the tropical Atlantic, through the Caribbean, in the southeastern part of America, and also through the Gulf of Mexico. So that all looks very well primed for a big hurricane season. So quite why we're having such a weak hurricane season, I'm not sure. I think it's largely associated with conditions coming out of Africa in terms of the upper level winds and whatnot. And it's possibly cooled a little bit through here, actually. So we're going to keep an eye on this, we're going to keep an eye on this change and see how it develops. This is actually the 7-day change. Quite interesting. So it's warming through here, through much of the tropical Atlantic. The sea surface temperatures are still continuing to warm up through there. It's warming as well around there south of Greenland. Notice it is, in the past 7 days, it has got considerably colder through here, especially towards Newfoundland. And, that is quite a significant change, actually. Get those purple colours there. That's like, in the past 7 days, it's cooled down by about 3 degrees, that part of the North Atlantic. So it does look rather tripole S-band. If that was to continue, of course, it's only a 7-day change, but we did see this last week as well, so it's like a 14-day change now. If that was to continue, things would continue to warm here, and also to warm here, but to cool here, particularly towards that eastern coast of America, then we would start looking at the tripole signature. We're not there yet, nowhere near. If we go back to the actual temperatures themselves, that is nowhere near a tripole, but the change over the past 14 days is trying to be in that direction. So that's one to watch. That's a slow burner, but one to watch. In the Pacific, the 7-day change is cooling just here, so that backs up the idea that La Nina is strengthening in the eastern part of the equatorial Pacific Ocean. We've also seen a little bit of cooling in this northern part of the Pacific Ocean, but more particularly over here, actually, over towards Japan and whatnot. And in the Indian Ocean, generally warmed up in the northern portion of the Indian Ocean over the past 7 days. TFSV2 still forecasting La Nina to be a weak to borderline moderate affair. So temperature is on the side of the chart, dates in monthly period on the bottom, and yeah, from black dash line, which is on summer being that's between around 1.5 degrees above average. So that's kind of weak to borderline moderate landing condition. So an oscillation index, which is an index that's reflecting the atmospheric data, but some Pacific Ocean doesn't drive anything. Does what the atmosphere is doing. When the SY is positive, the atmospheric setup will be reflective of La Nina. When the SY is negative, the atmospheric setup will be reflective of La Nina, El Nino. Looks like this. Very positive SY numbers at the moment. So it's measuring air pressure air pressure between Tahiti and Darwin when you get your overall SOI contribution, daily contribution in this column. 17th September came out at plus 29.42, very strong La Nina type condition for the atmospheric setup there. 16th plus 20, 13th plus 19, 12th of September plus 19, 9th September plus 18, 6th of September plus 18, very much an atmospheric setup that is reflective of La Nina, the ocean, and also the atmosphere when truly coupled up for this La Nina, which will be the third La Nina of La Nina Winter, you know, in succession. We can see from the 30-day SY average, which is this red line, that has also shot up actually over the past week. It was down there when we did last week's second update. It's up here now, so that's quite a significant movement, you know, for a weekly period as well. Related to sea surface temperature anomalies, of course, is the 2022 Atlantic hurricane season. These are the current scores on the doors for this hurricane season. It continues to be a very, very quiet one, really. So far we have had 6 total depressions, we have had 6 total tropical storms, we've had 2 hurricanes, and 0 major category 3 or above hurricanes. Ace Master Shryan has updated the ACE page for us. Remember, accumulated cyclone energy. ACE is just telling us how much energy these storms are giving out, you know, collected together through a season. The classification is below normal, near normal, above average, and hyperactive. We go all the way back to 1851 with this. If we come down to here, we can see that for 2022 so far, our overall ACE number is standing at 32.00. That is after 6 tropical storms, 2 hurricanes, and no major hurricanes. At this point in the season, in the hurricane season for the North Atlantic, we would or tropical Atlantic, we would expect to see 73.70 for ACE. So clearly we are still significantly below average, and that should be after 9 tropical storms for hurricanes, and by this point we should have had 2 major hurricanes. So we're about half the energy, we're about half the ACE really, compared to what we should be seeing at this point in the season. Will we have a below normal season? If we just go up here, you can see the last time we had a below normal season was in 2015, but we had a big El Nino going on then, El Nino 2015-16. Now that was the reason for that. I'm very unsure quite why this season is so quiet when we've got a La Nina, and we've also got we've got the Atlantic looking quite well primed. I'm not really sure what's going on there. We're going to have a look at the IOD next with our analogues. So this is where you're going to be the analog section of this winter update. So the Indian Ocean dipole is currently negative and is forecast to stay negative through the rest of this autumn. This is from Bureau of Meteorology. And so to Shryan, the ACE master, by the way, for the ACE. So this is from Bureau of Meteorology. These are the IOD probabilities over the next few months from October through to February. This was last updated for the individual model runs that make up this probability forecast on the 10th of September. So this is new data. So for October, we have a 100% chance of the IOD being negative at minus 1.1 Celsius, and that is a strongly negative IOD, actually. That's, you know, very historically strongly negative. For November, it's not quite as negative. It's at minus 0.7, which is a 78, but we have a 78 probability then, but the IOD will still be below normal. That's half a degree or more below average. So December, the probability goes to 41%, so still pretty high, but even by December, we're likely to keep this negative IOD going. But by January and February, we see the probabilities for the negative IOD at 16 and 9% respectively, and the probability that the IOD goes neutral by January and February is at 83% and 77%. There's virtually no chance until February anyway of the IOD being above average, we see 0, 0, 0. By February, there's a 13% probability that the IOD might go positive. That's pretty low, really. So it looks like we're going to keep the negative IOD, strong negative IOD, going through the autumn, and then send it back to neutral during the winter. So I thought for our analysis this week, we'd have a look at winters following strongly negative IOD autumns. So the first one of those, and Shrine got these years together for us. Thank you so much, Shrine, for getting the years together for us. The first one of those is the autumn of 1954. Winter 1954-1955 is actually a very cold winter with below average heights across much of northern and western Europe, and high pressure blocking around Greenland as well. So that was a properly cold winter in the middle of the 1950s following a strongly negative IOD. The next one is 1956, autumn 1956. We had a strongly negative IOD, that's half a degree or more below average. And we see that for the winter 56%, this is a much milder winter, low pressure out of the Atlantic and bringing in those westerly winds from off the Atlantic Ocean. The next one is 1958. Winter 1958-1959 was quite cold, especially so in January. It has a very cold January in 1959. And you see that from the above average heights near Iceland. So a lot of northerly winds in January 1959. On either side of that, I don't think it's overly cold. I think February 59 is quite mild, but it does have a very cold January in 1959. Next up for autumn at strong negative with the Indian Ocean Dipole is 1960. Winter of 60-61 is another pretty mild and wet winter, actually, but I think it does have a colder December. Or cold spell around Christmas. Then we got 1964, so the winter of 1964-1965, following that strongly negative IOD autumn, has high pressure blocking around Greenland and Iceland, low pressure down here. This is a winter that gets cold as it goes along. So early on, December 64, quite mild, but then as the winter progresses, particularly later on, February to March, there's a lot of cold weather and quite snowy. Overall, that's another pretty cold 1960s winter. Quite a long gap then through to 1974. So we have 1974-1975 up next. This is the start of the Great Drought. Really this winter with low pressure and jet stream getting pushed northwards and dry weather, high pressure coming into southern parts of the country. We have 75-76 following a strongly negative IOD autumn. That follows hot summer as well, of course, and is another very dry winter, 75-76, so a succession of dry winters and dry summers. A long gap then to 1996, so next time we have a strongly negative IOD in the autumn is 1996. The winter of 96-97 looks like that. Overall doesn't look much to write home about, but it does have quite a cold spell up to the middle of January. So December is pretty cold, especially so around Christmas to New Year of 96-97. Very cold spell then. Quite a bit of snow as well over that New Year period, 96-97. Then around the middle of January it turns milder and it has a very mild, wet February. So that's one of the occasions where the analogue doesn't tell you all that much about what the actual winter itself was like. And then lastly we have 1998. So there's not been a strongly negative IOD autumn since 1998. Can you believe that? So the winter of 98-99 is generally quite a mild 1990s winter, although it does have some cold snaps. Most of the winters in the 1990s are mild, and this is another one of them. Does have a few cold snaps coming and going though. So putting all of that together, this is how all December's combined are looking following autumns with a strongly negative IOD. Overall, it's a mild Atlantic-driven signal for these Decembers. Quite a wettish signal as well, probably. Could be a bit of cold snap potential because the resource high is pulled away from us slightly. This is how all January, so that's all December, this is how all January's combined following strongly negative IOD autumns. It's a very wet signal seemingly for these Januaries. Lots of low pressure dominating, not much cold potential, only a very slight amount of blocking, more towards the Canadian side of Greenland, so you expect a mild January with that, but pretty wet. And then it changes into February. Again, not much good if you want cold weather though. All February's combined following strong negative IOD autumns. Just looks anticyclonic, so a lot drier and pretty mild. Probably that high pressure is more or less centered over the country, so you will think like a dry, mild, early spring type February. All winters combined following strong negative IOD autumns look like that. And again, lots of low pressure around the place, so quite an unsettled signal. But that's particularly so, of course, for the January, and then it flips as we get into February. If we just take out the years where the that strongly negative IOD in the autumn then moves to neutral IOD for winter, which looks like what's going to happen this time, then it starts looking like this. So this narrows things down to just 1954, 1975, 1996, 1998. So that would be 54, 55, 75, 76, 96, 97, and 98, 99. So all Decembers combined, when the IOD is strong in the autumn but goes neutral in the winter, looks like that. So much drier signal, much more anticyclonic signal for those Decembers, not particularly cold. All Januaries combined don't look anywhere near as unsettled. The trough is sort of centred over towards Scandinavia, the high pressure out in the Atlantic, probably a little bit more cold snap potential for those Januaries. It's nothing to get excited about really, but a little bit more cold snap potential with that. Bear in mind, you know, we've got very contrasting January. So 55 is a very cold, wintry month. January 76 is generally mild. 97 starts a very cold, so it gets milder. And then 99 is just like Atlantic-driven, relatively mild January, but with one or two cold snaps coming and going. So they're very contrasting. And then all February's combined following strong negative IOD autumn, where we go neutral in winter. We look like that. More unsettled signal. Again, not particularly cold, but maybe a little bit more cold snap potential with that. Again, very contrasting. February 55 was very cold, a wintry month. February 76 was pretty mild and relatively dry, I think. February 97 was very wet and mild, and February 99 was similar to January, with like a generally mild month, but with a few cold snaps here and there. And finally, then, all winters combined following strongly negative IOD autumns back go neutral with the IOD in winter. It looks like this. So lower pressure to our north-northeast. Do that again. Lower pressure to our north and northeast. Higher pressure out in the Atlantic. Not a particularly cold winter signal, but we do have 1954, 55 in there. Within the package, which is a very cold winter. And of course, 96, 97, as I explained, is cold early on and then gets milder later. Right, so that's it. We'll have a little pause there, I think. And when we come back, we're going to resume with... thank you so much for Ryan, of course, for the analogues. We're going to have a little pause there. When we come back, we're going to resume with the with solar data. So you're going to stretch your legs, digest what you've just seen, and we'll be back very soon. Okay, we're back, and we're ready to resume the third winter 2022-2023 update from GavsWeatherVids. Hope you found it interesting so far. If you have enjoyed the video up to this point, then please can you like, share, subscribe, and thank you so much everybody for doing that. We have had our analogues package in the middle of the video, which is a little bit unusual to do that, but we've got shorter analog packages this year, so instead of doing like two videos, part 1, part 2, we're combining everything into one video, making it all a lot shorter, and where we place the analogues within those updates will differ week by week. This week we've had the analogues in the middle of the video. Hope you found that a little bit different, and you know, freshen things up a little bit, why not? Right, so we're going to resume with solar activity. This is how the solar disk is looking on our side of this day from solarham.net. Most of the activity is in the southern part of the solar disk at the moment. And solar activity is at low levels and is expected to remain at low levels for the next 3 days as well. This is the GavsWeatherVids solar activity tracker updated by Shrine. Thank you so much to Shrine for updating this. The orange line, orange spots depicting each individual day's worth of sunspot activity. So you can see that a few days ago we did get a little bit of a spike actually. Orange spots went up to there, but over the past few days we've seen the activity again dropping down a little bit. We're very much up and down at the moment. We are moving to a maximum, of course, but we have not had a spike that has gone past that one, which was actually back at the end of May. Can you believe? So very much up and down. The trend is pretty flat at the moment. I think you can see that from the green line, which is the 30-day SOI average. That's pretty flat right now, certainly not lifting up. Back at the start of the year, we did see that 30-day average was trending upwards. But after the big spike in May, it kind of dropped down. And since then, we've tended to be quite flat with the days that are spiking, being offset by the days that are a little bit quieter. Every day does have sunspots now, as you expect, given that we are moving into this solar maximum, so cycle 25, which will probably occur in around 2025, but of course we might have two solar maximum spikes, that often happens. It did in the last cycle. Thank you, Shrine, for the tracker. This is from Richard. This is showing spotted days and also the current spotted stretch. Thank you so much, Richard, for this. So for 2022, so far we have had 256 days of the year with sunspots. That is 99% of the year, compared to 2021, which had 301 days with sunspots, which is 82% of the year. In 2020, which had 158 days with sunspots, 48% of the year. So you see how the trend is an upwards one. Of course, as we're moving towards solar maximum. Solar minimum was 2019, which only had 84 days with sunspots. That was just 23% of the year. Our comparable year to this year is 2011 for this part of the solar cycle. That year had 363 days with sunspots. That's 99% of the year. The following year, 2012, had 100% every day, 366 days of 2012. With sunspots. So next year, 2023, we can expect every single day to have sunspots. If we start seeing days that don't have sunspots next year, then we will know that something strange is going on with the solar cycle. Thank you so much to Shryan and also to Richard for the solar data. The Wesley QBO is continuing to descend. If you look at this chart and think that that is the top of the atmosphere in the stratosphere, and that is where the troposphere is, 30 to 50 HPA, then you can see from the sandy colour just here, which is the next EC QBO phase, that has come down from the stratosphere into the troposphere. We are in a Wesley QBO, and we're going to stay in a Wesley QBO for this winter. Next week, we might have a look at QBO analogues. I've not thought about that yet, but just on the off chances right now, we might have a look at winters that have Westerly QBO, so that could be coming up for you with the analogues package next week. Arctic oscillation observed and forecast looks like this. The black line shows where we've been with the AO, red lines at the end. GSMS ensembles and forecast the AO to go. At the moment, we are negative with the Arctic oscillation, so there is levels of normal blocking in the Arctic. However, the GFS ensembles forecasting that the AO is likely to go positive or neutral to weakly positive in the final sort of week or 10 days or so of September. As far as the NAO is concerned, again, the black line shows where I've been with the NAO, whereas the red lines at the end show where the GFS ensembles forecast the AO to go. We see that the NAO is also negative, so we've got both the AO and the NAO negative at the moment. Could explain why the weather is a little bit cooler right now. GFS ensembles in the sort of final week or so, with 10 days of September, lifting the LAO into positive territory too. So both the indexes on the move. There's probably going to be some sort of pattern change as we get into the last part of September. Right, so this is how the polar vortex is currently looking. This is the temperature at 10 HPA from the GFS, and temperature forecast at 10 HPA in the stratosphere over North Pole from the GFS. These blue colours are the polar vortex at its roots in the North Pole. As we run through, you can see those blue colours expanding and deepening. So, yes, it's very much the case that the polar vortex, as you would expect, really, at this time here, is going to continue to strengthen. Notice the blue area just gets bigger over the next couple of weeks. So it's staying range down to the start of October. October. But the blue area polar vortex at its roots gets bigger, and the colours get deeper, the blues get deeper. So the polar vortex will both be expanding and also strengthening over the next 2 weeks, as you would expect. Next week, we're going to have a look at some forecasts for the polar vortex, not just through the next couple of weeks, but we're going to have a look at some forecasts going right way into winter. We'll get around 3 models together, I think, next Sunday, and we'll have a look, you know, and see how those models are forecasting the PV for winter 2022-2023. So that's coming up next week. That's going to be very interesting. Arctic sea ice extent looks like that. Currently, the blue line shows that we're still falling with Arctic sea ice extent. Actually, it hasn't leveled off yet, I don't think. So a little bit late now. You would expect this to be the final week, I think, before we see an uptick in Arctic sea ice extent next week, but it's a little bit later, I think, now than we normally get for our minimum. Right, so let's put in some years. That's 2022. We're on a par, 2021, I should say. We're on a par 2021 for this year. That's 2020. We're above 2020 for Arctic sea ice extent for this year. That's 2019, above that year too. That's 2018, bang on that year for Arctic sea ice extent. Very close to 2017 now. By this point in 2017, it started to level off, though, whereas we're still dropping now. That's 2016. We are above 2016 for Arctic sea ice extent. That's 2015, above that one too. That's 2014. That's the first year that we are under. We're under 2014 for Arctic sea ice extent. Notice most of these years are increasing by this point, though. So we are a little bit late to start turning the curve. That's 2013. Which we're under as well. 2012, that's a record minimum year. We are well above that year. 2011, we're under 2011. But by this point in 2011, in the melt season, we had turned the curve and we're starting to trend upwards, whereas at the moment, we're still dropping. That's 2010. Again, we're very close to 2010. Actually, notice, look, the curve with 2010 happens later in September. So that's very, very similar, actually, to current developments. 2019, yes, we're under 2009, I should say 2009, we're under that one. 2008, very close to 2008, 2007, above 2007, and 2006, we are well below. That's the first year, but we are well underneath for Arctic sea ice extent. Eurasian snow cover. Next, this is how Eurasian snow cover was looking when we did last week. Second update, a few white patches here across eastern portions of Siberia. This is the latest. We've increased those white patches a little bit further. So there is some snow there across the far north and northeast of the Siberian plain. Eventually, by the end of the autumn, by November, all of this area will have filled up with snow. And we're going to be monitoring how quickly that happens. And next week, I can tell you that we will start going through the archives. We will go back to 1998 next week and see how we're doing for Siberian snow cover. Back to 98. That'll be the first time this season that we do that. Right, so I'm just going to pause the video there one final time, and we're going to, when we come back, we're going to go through sea surface temperature anomaly data right the way back to 1985, see how we're comparing with the Atlantic this year. So that is coming up in the final part of the video. Don't go anywhere. It's going to be very, very interesting content, and I shall see you with that in 2 seconds. Okay, we're back, and we're going to resume the final part of this third winter 2021-2022 update from GavsWeatherVids. If you enjoy it so far, then please can you like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Let's play the gift. Thank you so much, Rich, for the gift. We're going to name a Robin in a couple of weeks. Right, we're just going to show you sea surface temperature anomaly charts back to 1985. See how the Atlantic is looking. First time this season that we've done this. We'll do it again next month for the final time in November. Just a reminder of the sea surface temperature anomaly chart. So that's it. That's the latest sea surface temperature anomaly chart as of the 16th of September. Try and ignore all of this area over here. We're not interested in the Pacific or the Indian Ocean at this point. We're only focusing on the North Atlantic. We're only focusing on that area just there. So try to block out the Pacific, Indian Oceans and whatnot. This is where we're interested in. That's how things look right now. So let's go back through all of the charts, shall we? So we're going to start off last year, 2021. So how do we compare with 2021? The Atlantic is warmer at this point in 2021. That's 2020. How are we comparing with that? I think the Atlantic is significantly warmer, especially in the North Atlantic this year than in 2020. That's 2019. Again, we're warmer than 2019 this year. That is 2018, significantly warmer in the northern part of the Atlantic Ocean than 2018. No comparison really this year, 2018. That's 2017. What do you make of that one? That might be a slightly closer one, but the Atlantic is generally in a warmer state this year, 2017. That's 2016, again, no comparison this year, 2016. That's 2015, no comparison whatsoever. 2015, that's 2014, again I don't think there's any comparison this year. 2014, that is 2013, that might be a closer one, like near Newfoundland, anyway, around there, for that warmer than average area sea surface temperature anomalies. But overall, the Atlantic is in a much warmer state than in 2013. That's 2012, what do you think about that one? That could be a slightly closer one, actually, I think, especially around here, and a little bit cooler through there. I mean, quite a bit warmer through there. That's a close one. Let me know in the comments which years you think are the closest. I think out of everything seen so far, that's the closest one, although not perfect. That's 2011. There's no comparison with that one. That is 2010. So we've got a classic tripole at this point in September 2010. Warm there, cool there, and then warm through there. What do you think about that one? If we start training in a tripole-esque way with our 7-day trainings over the next few weeks, then we could get to 2010, but at the moment we're some way away from it, I think. That's 2009, absolutely no comparison this year. 2009, that's 2008, what do you think about that year? Again, that might be a closer one with these warm areas just here. But generally, the Atlantic is much warmer this year than it was in 2008 at this point. That's 2007. Again, much warmer Atlantic right now in 2007. That's 2006. Again, that could be a closer one up here. But overall, the Atlantic much warmer this year compared to 2006. That's 2005. So, again, around here. That's close, but we've got more of a tripole type signature at this point in 2005. So that's one that we could get to if those 7-day trends continue. They have been over the past couple of weeks. That's 2004, no real comparison. 2004, that's 2003. Again, I don't think there's much of a comparison there. I mean, it is warmer up here. That might be a slightly closer one, actually. We might be slightly... that might be slightly closer one. It's not perfect, but might be slightly closer. 2002, again, no comparison there. 2001, again, not much of a comparison. And 2000, not much of a comparison. Now we're beginning to move back into an era when the Atlantic and the oceans overall were a lot cooler. So we can expect to see fewer charts, that are as warm as we are right now. That's 1999. Again, look how much warmer the Atlantic is this year overall compared to 1999. Where are we going? So I want to get rid of that. Compared to 1999, look how much warmer the Atlantic is this year compared to 1999. That's 98. So again, not much comparison. A lot more with the anomalies this year. That's 97. Again, not much of a comparison. 96, 95. 94, we're going back now towards the cold AMO period where the Atlantic is just so much colder than it is right now. So all of these years, going through the 1990s and into the 1980s, have no comparison to the current year. Look at 1986, how much colder the Atlantic is overall compared to right now in that last cold AMO period. That's as far back as we go to 1985. And again, just look how much colder the Atlantic. The oceans overall, actually the Pacific as well, but particularly the Atlantic. Look how much warmer it is this year to 1985. Incredible. Let me know in the comments which years you think were the closest, everyone. I reckon 2012, probably 2012. was the closest there, but not a perfect match. Let me know, please, in the comments, everyone, which is you think were the closest. And, of course, we'll do it again with a comparison back to 1985 at some point during the winter updates in both October and also during November as well. I want to say thank you so much, at the end of the video now, I want to say thank you so much to Richard and also to Shrine for all of their help on this video. Thank you so much, both. I really couldn't do these winter updates without the input from Shrine and Richard, so thank you so much to Richard and to Shrine. Before I go, this is going to be the final video we upload until Tuesday, so it's not going to be a live stream tonight. We will be discussing this winter update in live stream on Tuesday evening at 8 PM, but no live tonight and no video upload tomorrow. It's the Queen's funeral tomorrow. So before we go, I just want to, say thank you so much to Her Majesty the Queen for all of her service and duty, not just to me, but to the world, really, over the course of her lifetime. She spent 70 years on the throne. She saw every Prime Minister from Churchill to Boris Johnson and swore in Liz Truss 2 days before she died. She met every American president, from Eisenhower to Joe Biden, minus Lyndon B. Johnson. She didn't meet him, but she met all of the other American presidents from Eisenhower to Eisenhower to Biden. She just did incredible service and duty. And whatever you think about the monarchy, and I appreciate everyone has different views about overall the idea of a constitutional monarchy, nobody can deny the service and the duty that she gave. So thank you so much, Her Majesty the Queen, for everything that you did. You were terrific. You were amazing. Thank you so much to the Queen for so many decades of service. It's been a strange time for me. You all know that I lost my mum, on the 27th of May. And when the world goes into mourning, of course, it brings out your own grief and loss as well a little bit. So it's been a difficult time, sad about the Queen's passing, but also bringing back all of the thoughts and emotions. So while I'm paying tribute to Her Majesty the Queen, our Queen, but also the Queen for the world, while I'm paying tribute to the Queen, I'll also pay tribute to my very own Queen, Mrs. P. Thank you so much to my lovely, lovely mum for everything that she did to me, or did for me, over the course of my life. Thank you so much, Mrs. P. And I think at that point it's time to end this update. So I'm going to sign off there. If you enjoyed this winter 2022-2023 update, then please do like, share and subscribe to the channel, and we'll have another winter update for you next week. The 4th winter update will be coming up for you same time, same place next week. You have a nice, relaxing Sunday, and we shall meet again. In the words of the famous Dame Vera Lynn, we shall meet again on Tuesday, and then we will be doing a live stream, of course, discussing this winter update. But for this winter update, that's all for now, and thank you so much for watching.